able to, I think you can see my screen now. Yeah, if you can
Yes,
join
we
the
could.
yes, thank you. This is called The Nearest Beloved, the Forgotten Lord. Santam samipe ramanam ratipradam vitta pradam nityamimam vihaya akamadam dukkha bhayadishoka moha pradam tuchamaha bhajegya. I am such a fool that I have given up the service of that person who, being eternally situated within my heart, is actually most dear to me. That most dear one is the Lord of the universe, who is the bestower of real love and happiness and the source of all prosperity. Although he is in my own heart, I have completely neglected him. Instead, I have ignorantly served insignificant men who can never satisfy my real desires and who have simply brought me unhappiness, fear, anxiety, lamentation, and illusion. Purport by servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Pingala laments that she chose to serve most sinful, useless men. She falsely thought they would bring her happiness and neglected to serve the actual Lord of the heart, Krishna. She could understand how foolishly she struggled for money, not knowing that the Supreme Lord is always inclined to award prosperity to his sincere devotee. The prostitute was proud of her ability to please men, but she now laments that she did not try to please the Supreme Lord by loving service. The Supreme Lord is completely aloof from the transactions of the material world. Lord Krishna is the actual enjoyer of everyone and everything. But one must learn how to please the Lord by pure spiritual service. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshamantam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. I bowed to my spiritual master, who's opened my darkened eyes and filled my heart with transcendental knowledge. I further offer my obeisances to all of you assembled Vaishnavas and seek your kind blessings and permission that I can reach Srimad Bhagavatam. This verse is not merely an ancient moral story about a prostitute in the city of Videha. It is a mirror for all of us who are conditioned souls, including those of us who are, trying to be devotees, and maybe we've been chanting even for decades, several decades. It's a mirror for all of us. Pingala does not simply say, I desired the wrong thing. She says, I served the wrong master. Her tragedy was not that love, pleasure, or prosperity are unreal. That's not the point. Her tragedy was that she demanded infinite love, because that's what her heart wants. She demanded infinite love. She demanded lasting happiness, deep, final kind of security from finite persons. And finite persons can't give infinite security, while at the same time neglecting that one person who was already present in the heart, who could give her everything, all these things. So that's our theme. The nearest beloved can become the most neglected. And we'll ask 3 difficult questions. Whom am I actually serving? Even beneath the language of devotion. This is for devotees. What finite person or finite group or outcome have I asked to do what only Krishna can do? And how can disappointment become the doorway back to the Lord of the heart? Can I leverage my disappointment in any way? So, in the 11th canto, the Avadhuta Brahmana tells King Yadu that he learned spiritual wisdom from many unexpected gurus. Pingala is one of them. Pingala is a prostitute. She decorates herself. She stands at her doorway at night. She studies every man who passes. Perhaps this one will be wealthy. Perhaps the next one will be, happy and may choose me. Perhaps the next transaction will finally bring some pleasure and security. Every passing figure renews her hope, and therefore actually renews her pain. The night becomes late, her body is tired, her mind is inflamed, and the expected customer never arrives. Then something remarkable happens in the story. The outer situation doesn't improve, but her intelligence awakens. The empty street that first looked like rejection begins to look like a rescue. At first, she interprets the night through desire. I'm miserable because the object has not come. Then she interprets desire through her wisdom. I'm miserable because I made this object my master. The event is the same. The meaning changes. She's converting. She has a conversion. Everything is the same, but her perspective has changed. So we should not romanticize suffering or tell wounded people that every harmful event is somehow good. That's not the point. Bhakti does not require us to kind of re-categorize abuse as mercy or injustice as some kind of virtue. I was just having this discussion with one of our students yesterday on this point of war and suffering of the world. But talking about disappointment can become a revelation when it exposes the false philosophy or false theology even hidden inside our expectations. Sometimes Krishna's mercy enters into our life not by giving us the desired object, but by allowing the desire itself to collapse under the weight of its own false promise. The desire itself collapses in front of our eyes like, I can't believe I desired this. What a useless thing. Krishna doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to give us the space to realize it. So Pingala's this decisive discovery is not that, no one came to my rescue or anything like that. It is the truly beloved was already here in my heart. She spent the whole night looking outward from the doorway while the Lord of the universe waited inside her heart. So her movement here is not simply from sensuality to morality. It's huge, it's much bigger than that. It is from the external doorway to the inner heart, beyond morality, to the highest reality. See, from anxious expectation to remembering the relationship, from being a vendor or a seller of pleasure to becoming a servant of the source of all pleasure. And that was a breakthrough. Let's read this verse. Okay, this verse, every word is incredibly powerful. I like to do this, I'll take apart each word and see what it means. And interestingly, this exact verse is found in a song. It's sung by Karnamrita. If you have There's an old CD that was so-called Dasi, and this is one of them. She sang it very beautifully. Santam Samiparamanam Pratipadam. So let's read the verse. Santam means that He, the Lord, is truly existing. Samipe means most near. Samip, very close, specifically in the heart. And Nitya means eternal. This nearness, Santam Samipe Nityam. Ramanam means the most dear beloved. And Rati Pradam means the giver of actual love and pleasure. The genuine love that we're seeking. He is that giver. Vitta Pradam means the giver of prosperity. Right here. So this is the first half of the verse, right? Notice how the first half is positive. The Lord is near, He's eternal, He's lovable, love-giving, He's the source of all wealth, Vitta, the real wealth. Then she talks about a tragedy. Imam Vihaya. Having abandoned this very person, then Pingala has turned, she said, I turned toward Akamadam. Akamadam. The substitutes. So those substitutes who cannot satisfy your actual desire. And Tucham. Tucham means insignificant in comparison to the Lord. Tucham means so insignificant. It's there, but it's utterly useless and insignificant. And she says, Aham bhaje agya. Aham bhaje agya. Agya means I'm an ignorant fool and I served them. I did bhajan for them. Bhajan means to actually serve, to focus my consciousness on. Like we do, generally bhajan means to serve the Lord. But here it's aham bhaje agya. I'm so foolish, I did bhajan of these insignificant men, useless. And then she lists the fruit. What happened? What happened when I misdirected my service? Dukkha, bhaya, adi, shoka, moha. All these problems. It's a very packed verse. Dukkha is misery, bhaya is fear, adhi means mental distress, shoka means lamentation. See, adhi, you've heard the word vyadhi. Vyadhi. Vyadhi means intense distress. Like, it causes physical and mental distress. So that's why, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Vyadhi means disease. So I got nothing but distress out of this. And moha just continued my misconceptions, my illusions. The crucial word is bhaje. She didn't say, I thought of the wrong person or I felt the wrong emotion. She says, bhaje, I served. My main focus was that. Why? Because actually the jiva's natural service cannot be switched off. No way. We are always on in the service mood. We are always doing bhajan of someone or something or some ambition, or that bhajan is always happening. We may reject God, but we'll still serve the ego, false ego. We may reject devotion, but we'll serve the body, the market, or our tribe, or we'll give ourselves to some institution or some company or some corporation, or we'll give ourselves to our audience, or we'll give ourselves into the demand of being quote unquote independent, but we'll give ourselves to these things. The question is never whether we serve. We'll always serve. The question is which altar receives our time, attention, our sacrifice, and our hopes. Which altar am I serving at? Which altar am I offering my arati every morning? Is it on the altar of the Supreme Lord Krishna? Or is it on the altar of the stock market news channel or the political news channel? Some altar always gets our attention. We must also handle this tucham carefully. See this word tucha. Pingala is not teaching that human beings are worthless. That's not what she's saying. She says she understands this point, that every jiva is an eternal part of Krishna, and therefore worthy of respect and compassion. The insignificant describes that finite person when we ascribe or we assign that person an infinite function. We expect just too much out of a person. A spouse, a parent, a leader, a donor, disciple, an institution. These, if they are reposed on finite goals and finite people, then they just cannot bear the weight of being our ultimate shelter. It has to be reposed in Krishna. So when we demand that they give permanent identity, perfect love, and final security, we're crushing them under a burden that only Krishna can carry. Santam Samipe. Samipe means most near. You see, these are synonyms that make the location explicit. Within my heart. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, right, 15th chapter, I'm seated in everyone's heart. And again, 18th chapter, he says, the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, right? Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati. Now, this is called ontological nearness. Means it exists existentially. Existential proximity. It's there. He's there physically. We are never outside his presence. But remember, this is International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Our consciousness doesn't recognize that. See, ontological nearness does not automatically become experiential intimacy. Someone may live in the same house and be emotionally distant. I mean, you could be neighbors in the same building and not even know each other's names for years. The same way the Lord can be within the heart, while our attention is permanently outsourced to our senses, to the world, to other people's opinions. What is the main currency of consciousness? Our attention. Attention is the main currency of our consciousness. Where do we give our attention? Whatever repeatedly receives our attention begins to function as our practical deity in our consciousness. Now, this is sobering for progressive devotees. You know, we know the Siddhanta, Paramatma, lives in the heart, and we can still live as practical atheists. Completely possible. We can quote that Krishna is in the heart. Yet, emotionally, we believe deeply that safety comes from some email I'm going to get, or a committee decision, or a medical report, or a family member's approval or disapproval, or the success of my service. We invest so much emotion in those foundational falsities. Ultimately, we wiped away by time. We sit beside the Lord while staring anxiously outside through Pingala's doorway. But Pingala does not describe this indwelling Lord as a cold surveillance mechanism. Some kind of camera to survey us. No. She calls him Ramanam, the most dear, beloved, sweet person. Because he's a witness, but he's also beloved. Not just, a closed circuit camera. He is the one who has seen every compromise. He has seen every hidden motive. He has seen every moment of neglect, and he's still the one who's most dear to the soul. So, our spiritual practice is not an attempt to import God into an empty life. The heart is not empty. The heart is occupied with other stuff. Shravanam and Kirtanam is hearing, chanting, attention toward that Supreme Person who is already there. That's what we want. We are there actually. But our consciousness has to be there too. It's japa. Japa is the disciplined refusal. It's a very important practice. Why do we do it? because it's a disciplined refusal to keep treating this nearest person as irrelevant. My Lord, I'm going to chant your name now. You're not irrelevant. I'm giving you my attention, my consciousness. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Please, my Lord, accept me. You know. The tragedy in our practice is not that Krishna has gone far away. He's very close, always. The tragedy is that we have trained our consciousness to look elsewhere. That's the misfortune. Now, Pingala calls Krishna Ramanam, the dear, most beloved, and Rati Pradam, the giver of actual love or pleasure. This is important. Because sometimes, right, we think that spiritual renunciation is a kind of an emotional amputation. As though our progress means being less alive. Like things that used to excite me, I'm not excited anymore. I'm just feeling bland and meh. You know, I mean, I used to enjoy those things, but I don't have enjoyment for them. So my life has actually become kind of very pastel and, you know, less alive, less affectionate, less capable of delight. That's what sometimes people think this spiritual renunciation is. But Pingala's realization is the opposite. She abandons those who cannot satisfy the heart and turns toward the one who gives the heart its full capacity to love. It's exciting, it's thrilling, it's joyful, it's full of intrigue and sweetness and romance. It's all there. Krishna consciousness does not kill desire. It rescues our desire from impossible objects. You see, there's kama and there's prema. Kama is lust and prema is love for the Lord. The difference between kama and prema is not intensity. No, both can be intense. The difference is the grammar of the relationship. Kama asks, how can this person complete me, validate me, obey me, protect my identity, satisfy my hunger? It's all mine, mine, mine. But prema asks, how can I please Krishna? How can I make him smile? How can I serve this person as his beloved part? Eagerness is to serve. Eagerness is to make Krishna happy. It's a different perspective. You know what this means is that human love is not the rival of divine love. This is a big misconception. Prabhupada does try to, in his purports, explain that. Affection for a spouse, for the child, for the parent, for the teacher, for the guru, for the disciple, for the devotee. This affection can become even deeper and become deeply sacred when it is properly connected with Krishna. But what Pingala is highlighting here is the problem begins when you demand from a human relationship what only Krishna can give. Unconditional, eternal identity. Immortality. Only Krishna can give that. Perfect understanding. Total sense of safety. And final meaning, ultimately. And no ordinary soul or person or finite person can deliver those things. However sincere, loving they may be, they just can't deliver. Only Krishna can give that. When we ask these people to do so, then what happens is affection becomes anxiety. And our love or their love becomes a means of control. You're two anxious people who are misdirected. It's Rati Pradam. Rati Pradam also means that this genuine spiritual affection is bestowed. Pradam means to give. We don't manufacture bhav, this loving feeling, by psychological pressures or by performing some kind of fake identity. No. We make the heart available through the hearing process, the chanting process. The chanting connects us to that dimension, the spiritual dimension, reconnects us. We bring it out by remembrance, by honest, open association with devotees. And Krishna provides the taste That is Rati Pradam. Beautiful word from Pingala. So, renunciation is not less love. It is actually love that is freed from this consumer or consumption mentality. When I no longer need another person to be Krishna for me, then I can finally see that person as a servant of Krishna. I can respect their limitation. I can rejoice in their gifts. I can forgive them where it's appropriate. Establish boundaries where it's necessary. And serve them without trying to possess the whole situation, possess them. So Pingala's turning inward is not the end of love. It's the recovery of love from that marketplace that she's trying to come out of. See? So her verse is incredibly beautiful. And what does Krishna preserve? Vitta Pradam, the real wealth. He's a giver of prosperity. And he's eternal, Nityam. What is he preserving? Now Krishna says in the Gita, right, 9th chapter, those who worship me with exclusive devotion, I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. So the Lord's commitment is not to, what is he preserving? It's not to maintain every external arrangement, because those are going to change every day, practically. His commitment is to bring the devotee toward himself and protect the devotee's spiritual life, while still giving the devotee always enough space to choose. That's what he protects. Then what is this wealth? This vitta pradam. What is this vitta? The wealth is sambandha. The certainty that I belong to Krishna. Krishna, I am yours and you are mine. That sambandha is Krishna's gift to us. Smriti, the remembrance of Krishna. Krishna says, I give remembrance if you want it. So if we say, my Lord, please let me remember you. That remembrance returns even when our circumstances shake us. And then ruchi, the taste for hearing, chanting. This is the vitta, this is the wealth. My Lord, please fill my heart with this taste for chanting and service. And then ashraya, the shelter in the holy names. The instruction of the Guru, that's ashraya. The association of devotees, that's ashraya. So, of course, we may add humility and gratitude, discrimination, compassion. None of these vitta, this wealth, can be confiscated by the stock market ups and downs, or economic loss, or aging, or organizational changes, or another person's rejection of our project or whatever, or us. No, they're completely protected. Sometimes Krishna preserves our bhakti not by preserving an arrangement. A position may disappear. An audience may become smaller. A plan may fail. A wealth may contract. A relationship may change. Materially, we may call it loss, and the pain can be real. I'm not pretending it's not real. But spiritually, it may also be rescue, a form of rescue, if the arrangement was becoming my alternative master. Maybe the Lord is refusing to finance the architecture of my ego because he's protecting my return, the soul's return to him. Do you think about that? So advanced devotee measures prosperity with the deeper instrument. Not only did I gain what I wanted, not that. But what did this event do to my remembrance, my sense of dependency? May I become more honest, maybe more compassionate, more willing to serve. If those treasures increase, then our vitta, the wealth, has increased. Even if its external accounts have decreased. See? Now, she also says, Ashahi paramam dukkham, nairashyam param sukham. Material desire is undoubtedly the cause of greatest unhappiness, and freedom from such desire is the cause of greatest happiness. That's the hope. The false hope is Krishna must fulfill my particular arrangement I have in my head. But the devotional hope is, Krishna, I know you can sustain and engage me in any arrangement, in any circumstance. You can be restful when you're truly free now. You can be free from external circumstances. Of course, doesn't mean you're clinically depressed or loss of hope in Krishna. That's not the point of this. It means that you're free from the material insistence, free from the material hope. So how do we transform disappointment instead of merely suppressing our disappointment? So Pingala suggests 4 things. First, expose the false creditor. Name the person or the institution or the outcome that you believed owed you peace or identity or safety. Be concrete. I believe this leader owed me some appreciation. I believe this service would guarantee a position for me. I believed my family's behavior would prove that my sacrifice was worthwhile. So sometimes they have vague pain, we don't know where it is coming from, but if we name the expectation, like this is what I expected, then you can examine it. It becomes examinable. It's like doctors first to diagnose it, then you propose treatment. Second, you release this impossible claim. Say it clear, like Pingala was saying, this finite person cannot give me eternal belonging or perfect love or final security. This is not demonizing the person. We don't demonize the person. That's not the point. It's an act of mercy, actually, because we stop burdening them with the role they can never fulfill. Yes, they may have wronged us. They may have been very unfair with us, but that's not even the point. We're just expecting too much from circumstances. The third point, return those needs to Krishna. Tell the Lord what the heart is truly seeking. Perhaps, under the desire of an event is a need for shelter, the need for dignity, need for clarity. Maybe I need some strength, companionship, meaningful service. These are our needs. Ask Krishna for the spiritual substance underneath those needs, not only for one preferred external form. If you can phrase it that way, it'll make things so much clearer. And fourth, reoffer the action without an invoice. What does that mean? It means continue the service, change it or end it, whatever, that's fine too, according to dharma. Take the point of view of truth, take wise counsel, do all those things. But don't make the freedom of the heart contingent on another person's response. That is always in your hands, how free you allow yourself to be, your heart to be. Sometimes say, no, you owe me. No, not necessarily. We may think mathematically they owe us, but the freedom of the heart has nothing to do with it. Don't repose the freedom of your heart in another situation, external situation. This last point requires some balance. Of course, Pingala didn't just remain at the doorway while claiming inward renunciation. She went inside. She didn't just keep doing what she was doing. Spiritual detachment is not passive tolerance of exploitation. A devotee may say no. A devotee may document wrongdoing. A devotee may seek protection. A devotee must establish boundaries. Yes. A devotee may pursue justice. A devotee may leave an unhealthy arrangement. The distinction here, what we're talking about, is not always in the external action. The distinction is whether the action is offered to Krishna or driven by the demand that this particular worldly outcome will heal the soul or must heal the soul. No. The soul healing part comes by our proximity to Krishna in our consciousness. External circumstances will always be up and down. So I'm going to conclude with this slide. Pingala begins at the doorway, decorated for her, for the job, for the marketplace, measuring her own worth by who might choose her. But she ends the night resting, because she remembers that she is already accompanied by the Lord of the universe. Her movement is from external valuation to the eternal relationship, from a sense of anxious hope to deep trust, from service performed for payment to service arising from her spiritual nature, from a crowd of imagined buyers to the one eternal beloved. So we can carry this verse through these 4 words: notice, name, release, and serve. Notice what the heart is waiting for. Name the false master beneath the expectation. Release that infinite demand that we place upon the finite person, finite outcome. Then serve Krishna in the duty that remains. We have our duties to do. Serve Krishna within the framework of our duties. I'll conclude with this prayer. Okay. My dear Krishna, you've never been absent. You are seated within my heart, giving remembrance, knowledge, opportunity, and the very capacity to love. I've often neglected you while begging finite persons and temporary arrangements to tell me that, oh, now I'm secure, now I'm valuable, now I'm loved. Please forgive my foolishness, my Lord. Let every disappointment expose a false shelter rather than harden my heart further. Let me love devotees without using them. Let me serve organizations without worshiping them. Let me accept responsibility without claiming control. And let me chant your holy names without trying to bargain for something. Let me seek truth and establish boundaries when necessary, but never surrender my remembrance of you to some other person's response. Please preserve the one wealth that no loss can touch. Remembrance of you, the desire to please you. Lead me from the doorway of restless expectation to the inner chamber of the heart, where you are eternally near, the most dear, the giver of real love, the source of all spiritual prosperity. Santam samipi ramanam rati pradam vitta pradam nityamiham vihaya. May we no longer abandon the nearest beloved in order to bargain with shadows. May Pingala's disappointment become our discernment. May her confession become our humility. And may her detachment become our freedom. And her restfulness become our trust in Krishna. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much for your kind attention and your valuable time. Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So
Hare
nice.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for being here. You're such a poet. I love when you're lecturing. I appreciate it. I love what you said, like that Pingala. She went from outwardly to the inward. And the process of that we're serving somebody all the time, and that she went to Krishna, and Krishna doesn't promise us that our circumstances are going to be perfect all the time. Like you said, he's just promising that he's going to take us inwardly, more towards him. And so many points we touched. It's a great story, and thank you so much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Madana-gopala Prabhu, was that a class or a prayer? So nice. It was so therapeutic. Thank you for the guided
Oh,
meditation
right.
class.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, it was actually mostly a prayer if you think of it from that angle. That's true. We're praying to the Lord to let me know what to aspire for. Because, sometimes what we aspire for is not very clear and we mix it up with a lot of things. But sometimes the Bhagavatam is so unique and remarkable like that. The place where you least expect such depth, you'll find it, in the articulation of Pingala, who had such a, unfortunate background. And yet you could see this is the cry of the soul for all of us. Yes. Thank you. I'm happy to see so many devotees. I see Murli Gopal Prabhu from Kenya. I see Jyoti Mataji from the UK, from all the country. Devaki Preeti Mataji, Jai Haribol. Kamala Mukhi is there. Manarupini is there. Narayan Prabhu is there. Anand Vardhana Prabhu from the UK has also joined. Kinjal Mataji. Wow, it's amazing. Thank you all for joining.
Oh, I also like that you said that we're putting so much unexpected things on people. Like we put people in the role of kind of Krishna, and we expect so much from them, not understanding that they're finite, and that's the role belongs to Krishna. Instead of going to people and expecting all those things from them, we just could go directly to the source, not to the pleasure, but the source of all giving pleasure, which is
That's right.
Krishna.
Yes. Yeah, we're seeking this. We're seeking pleasure from, very bankrupt people. But yeah, I see our friend Keshav Hari is also there. I don't know if he's still there. And Sundari Radha Mataji, Truti Mataji from the UK as well. I see you. Yeah, thank you for
Krishna
joining.
Guru.
Haribol. Jamuna Jaya, the Queen of
Hare Krishna,
Smiles.
Gurudev. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, that was, I knew when you started, I put in the chat box. This is a classic to be listened to over and over. But I think the line that really got me is we're seated beside the Lord of our heart and we're looking outside of Pingala's doorway. That was like, that's it. We're looking in the wrong direction and he's right there beside us. Sorry, motorcycles going by the whole time. So thank you so much for that, this class and that one line that just so encapsulated it so much. Thank you, Madana-gopala.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. This is the Bhagavatam. The imagery of the Bhagavatam is so powerful. And look at Pingala's words. And even though she's ordinary, supposedly ordinary person, but she's considered a guru by this Brahmana. He lists, these are my gurus, and she's one of them. And look at the way she expresses, and she's inviting us to realize that we are all, hey, there's Keshavari, we're all just misdirected so deeply. Yes. Adi Purush Prabhu, would you like to share some reflections?
The conch is blowing.
Oh, conch is blowing, Jai. And please turn on your camera if you can. Take darshan and give darshan also.
Wonderful class, Gurudev. This remind me of when we were young and in India and we went to see a play on a Pingala. This brings back the memory. I think I would probably about 15 or something like that. But there was a play, and but have you articulate and have you explained everything in such depth is just it blows our minds away. Actually, it was beautiful prayer and more than a class. Yes, thank you. We can't hear anything. Is there a problem with the audio?
I think we lost audio on the Bhakti Center. The mic disappeared.
Hare Krishna, welcome to the Afterglow. Madana-gopala Prabhu, one more time, thank you so much for the class.
Thank you for the opportunity.
It's very deep and very practical. I don't know how you do that. It's very esoteric, very deep, yet very practical, relatable, and we can practice the principles you outlined. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Adi Prabhu.
Yeah, super exquisite class. We're wonderful. We're basking in the sunshine of your kind. Uh, acting as guru, and Krishna is expansive. It's like the sun is expanding, shining out, and causing things to grow and keeping things warm and producing light and helping us all. So the guru, she is inspiring the Avadhuta Brahman, and that's what Guru does, and that's what you're doing. Um, every time we talk to Yuvena Madhuri Mataji, she always says like, "Oh, my Guru is here. Oh, my Guru is speaking there." It's we don't just like Prabhupada said. I'm not asking you to be Krishna conscious. I'm asking you to give Krishna consciousness, right? So just like we're hearing this exchange between these two persons, we are meant to step into that sampradaya to whatever. I mean, I'm a fallen soul. I make mistakes. I'm a genuine, certified, bona fide fallen soul. But somehow or other, Prabhupada's grace is there, and we've been given something. And he says the only way to thank me is to give it to somebody else. So that's what you're doing, and that's what we're hearing about. And let's give it. Just yesterday, we were in this supermarket, and a girl named Alexa, we talked to her a minute, and we invited her, and she's coming out today to help to distribute Krishna Prasadam. So it's not just something in a book, where and just like you take a lighted candle and touch it to another candle, and that other candle becomes lighted and starts giving out light and heat. So the expansiveness is manifested in how we can, you know, encourage and inspire and invite other people to come in. Okay.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Huh?
You can always engage her in Krishna's service by just saying, "Hey Alexa, do this or whatever." um, I see Valley is here from Middle East. Are you in the Middle East right now, Valley?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I'm in the UK right now.
Oh, in the UK. Okay, great. Glad you could make it. Thank you for coming. So we have Narottam Nitai Prabhu and Kamalamukhi Mataji. Please go ahead, Narottam Nitai.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji, for class. I was reminded of something I wanted to share. I remember after 9/11 happened, my friends somehow from high school. I was in high school when it happened, but my friends told me about this person in New York City. He was like a gangster. His name was like I think John Gotti or something. And then I don't know. I don't know if this is real or not, but because I didn't look it up, but apparently some gangster, got killed in New York City after the 9/11 attacks. But he was like running, one of those, prostitution rings. Anyways, the reason I mentioned that is just because um, I'm a little bit afraid, bro, like of like the whole digital monitoring of everything and how like people's natural ability just to relate with each other could be hampered. And also, I guess I want to say one thing as um, I being born in a Brahmin family, like I feel like I'm always falling short of like what I should be, in terms of both like coming traditionally from my parents, and also um, what Chilbert wants from me as well. So I guess that can also like in a way create this feeling of like loneliness, but also like this sense of to like, a lot of responsibility, but not knowing even know how to try to move things forward. But it's I don't even know how to say this, but I just wanted to express that and it's nice to hear these classes and try to Hare Krishna. I don't know, just like I guess from a Prabhu's perspective, like treating uh every Mataji like a like a Mataji. It's so important. So, anyways, back to you, Prabhuji. I just wanted to say that, and I know New York City has like a lot in it, and I talked to Adi Prabhu yesterday. Hopefully, I can replicate what's happening in New York here in Detroit. So, I don't know.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes, that's true. A lot happening. Kamala Mukhi Mataji, please go ahead.
Good morning. Hare Krishna Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
My question refers to sharing Krishna consciousness because, like so many of us are reflecting here on this call, Pingala's story is one of the most commonly experienced experiences that we all have here in this material world right now. And as devotees, we can refer back to Bhagavatam, back to this story, back to so many other things to sustain us when we face these kind of challenges. But could you maybe break down into simple terms how we could share this lesson with someone who is not a devotee? Because I'm often questioned by people who come to me and they say, "Oh, Kamalamuki," but they call me Karen. She's so learned, she's so spiritual. Maybe she can help me with this problem. And I'm just wondering how could we condense this story into something that non-devotees could understand and learn from?
Well, I do agree with your friends that Kamalamukhi is so learned and so 100%.
No.
And I'll tell you, the way you explain things, it's very natural. It's very straightforward, it's transparent, it's honest, it's at the same vibration as the person who you're listening, who's talking to you. And so whatever you say, because it's in plain English language, and it's from your realization, that's how to share, basically. That's the bottom line. So, of course, when you're talking about this Pingala episode, you don't want to begin with Pingala as a prostitute who became spiritually enlightened. That's not how we start. We begin with the human experience that makes her story universal. Her occupation is a setting. It could be any other occupation. And her psychology is the teaching. So you can break it down. If you're having conversation, you can break it down to certain, like you said, how to break it down. We're all waiting for something. So this is the scene. Pingala is in the evening waiting. She's waiting for the person she believed would finally make her happy. This guy is finally going to make me happy. But then every day is a disappointment. So we all essentially do the same thing. When I get that relationship, when I get that particular amount of money, even if you reach it, because of inflation, there's a new amount now. So when I get that money, when I get that recognition finally, when I get that promotion, when I get, when I can fit into my college clothes, when I get that house or that status, then I'll be okay. We're waiting for something. We're working toward it sometimes too. So that's a human experience, universal. Second, we can break it down. The second piece I'm thinking of, the problem isn't having goals. The problem is asking temporary things to give us permanent satisfaction. See, that's the core. And we're so jaded that we're not even convinced there's such a thing as permanent satisfaction, because we've never seen permanence in this world. So the most permanent anything will be is for a couple of years. That's it. Like, I got my filling in my teeth a few years ago. And I asked the dentist, this is a permanent filling, right? He said, yeah, permanent. And he said, quote unquote, permanent. Because in dentistry, permanent means 5 years at the most, After 5 years, most likely you'll have to come back. You have to get you a root canal or something. So here's honest. He's saying there's nothing. And then he told me, you're a devotee, there's nothing permanent in this world. I mean, he knows I'm a Hare Krishna, and we talk about our temple and things like that. He's a nice guy. So, he made it very clear, hey, even we dentists know nothing's permanent in this world. So there's nothing wrong with relationships, there's nothing wrong with achievement or prosperity. Go for it, it's fine. The problem begins when the heart says, I need this in order to be whole. It's not going to make you whole. It's going to give you a hole in the heart. but I'll make you whole. Desire has turned into quiet dependence, and that's where the problem is. You have to move away from that mindset. This is what Pingala is teaching. So these are the lessons we can share. And you can say that, by the way, it's Pingala. You can give it the name. Now, Pingala's discovery, what is her discovery? She keeps looking down the street. Maybe the next person, maybe soon. What are we doing? Checking the phone, waiting for the message, watching the bank balance, hoping for validation. This is actually a form of suffering. Hope that is reposed in the wrong place is a form of self-torture. It's a form of suffering. In the name of hope. No. You've mislabeled self-torture and called it something positive, something noble called hope. There's nothing noble about it. Forget it. Abandon hope, all ye who enter this temple. Abandon falsehood, that's the point. And then the breakthrough. The breakthrough is real, though. Why am I giving someone else the responsibility for my happiness? That's the breakthrough. You see, nothing outside Pingala actually changes when she makes this realization. The same night, the same set of customers, her circumstance is the same. What changes is where she starts placing her hope now. That's why her liberation can happen in a single evening. All it takes is a change in perspective. And that's where Krishna consciousness enters very naturally. Rather than saying, therefore surrender to Krishna, she said, no. The Bhakti tradition makes an extraordinary claim. What is that claim? The fulfillment that we are endlessly searching for through other people and other things is actually the longing of the soul for its relationship with the divine. And that's the ultimate conclusion. And if you can phrase it that way, it's not about impressing people with word jugglery. It's about touching someone's soul and recognize, oh my God, I'm also thirsting for that. You want to say it in your own words, because your own words are very powerful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. All right. Well, Narottam Nitai Prabhu is sharing some astute reflections. He says, I was given the nickname Hooch in high school, and my school mascot was a hornet. That was in eastern Pennsylvania. Thank you, Narottam Nitai, for that perspective. Hare Krishna. Yes, Anand Bihar Prabhu, thank you. Hare Bol.
Thank you, Madana-gopala Prabhu. My nickname in high school was Moose. I don't know if that's a valid reflection. Your class was temporary, but it's given permanent satisfaction to the heart, Madana-gopala Prabhu. Thank you very much.
I feel like I'm the only one who didn't get Narottam Nitai's, I don't know, joke. Can somebody explain it to me?
Narottam Nitai Prabhu, please explain your high school nickname.
Oh, sure. So in late 90s, early 2000s, there's a song, Who Got the Hooch, like a popular song, the only sweetest thing in the world. And then, of course, the sweetest thing being Krishna consciousness. And then Hooch is another name for, like, I think, like, I guess a prostitute. But it's also, but the high school mascot was also Hornet, which is like a bigger honeybee. So it's kind of like a reflection of the Srimad Bhagavatam, teach of this, because even in Krishna book, there's this bumblebee that speaks to Srimad Radharani, and what's it like? I can't speak on that topic because it's a very high topic, I'm sure. But it was just reflecting on how even now like the bees are, I don't know, like people are starting to value honeybees now. And then what happened after 9/11 of this person named John Gotti, some gangster in New York City. He was like he ran like a criminal enterprise of prostitution in New York City. So after 9/11, the fact that he was killed, it was just like it's very reflective of like and then like some places in Europe, in the sense that some people might regard some people regard others as very loose in their living ways and stuff like that. It's just reflective of like how our perceptions that are put on us, and then how we kind of like move things ahead. And yeah, so and also like somehow like if we feel lonely and stuff, like how that can be also like sort of like a parallel to how Bigelow might have felt, and the desire for material gains and all that stuff. So anyway, it's just a meditative reflection. I just wanted to share out of joking, like, fun and joking ways. So yeah.
I think I'll have to stay after class. But thanks anyway.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have Saurabh Prabhu followed by the junior chanters. Saurabh Prabhu. Check one, check two. Saurabh Prabhu, we can't hear you. Radha Rani ki jai, Maharani ki jai. Saurabh Prabhu. Nope, no sound.
Okay, so we're ready for our junior choir. Maybe Sarab could come and sing as well. That would be nice. Karen, do you have?
That's a nice collaboration. Yeah.
It would be, right? Annabelle, Isaiah, we see Isaiah. Oh, and you have a friend today? Perfect. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Where do I put this? Sing very awfully. Don't sing very awfully. Rama, Rama. You have to hold it. Hare. I thought you were gonna take this.
Hi. Isaiah is giving bhakti to his friend. What's your friend's name, Isaiah?
Wilder.
Hello, Wayoda. Hare Krishna.
That was beautiful, Wilder. Haribol.
Haribo. Haribo.
Thank you very much. Happy Friday. Madana-gopala Prabhu, thank you very much for the therapy, prayer / class. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for being on this call. We love you and we need you every day. Hare Krishna, give Krishna to others. If you're in the office cubicle, go to the water cooler and offer that water for the benefit of your co-workers. Offer it to Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna.